And here it is. We about to go live. Yep, and we in the game, my man.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's up, man? How you been?
Good. Thank God for life, in these perilous times, we give thanks for another day, fight the struggle.
Man. I felt that first of all, we you tuned in to Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV. I got my guest tonight, Josh David Barrett of Judah Tribe and the Wailers, and and a pretty dope musician, man. A pretty dope musician. So how is it in the warm weather where you are right now?
Well, it's beautiful and hot. We're in the desert, west coast, but it's beautiful. I like the contrast from the East Coast because a lot of pollen and thing, and I've had bad allergies, so I like being in the mountains and fresh air and sunlight.
Oh, nah, that's tight. So for those who don't know Josh David, he's my homeboy. I met him many moons, probably around 2008-ish. Were you on Rock the Bell?
Rock the Bells, okay. Yes.
For whatever reason, and it's probably because we probably clicked harder in Australia. I always remember Australia. I remember kind of the Rock the Bells thing, but Australia is where we really got to link up and kind of kick it and just, get to know each other. That was a cool moment in time.
Yeah, I remember that, hanging out in the club one night with Tribe and Pharcyde, and I gave y'all some herb cookies that my brother Al Hicks from Australia, Drummy, who did an excellent documentary on Clark Terry. He blessed me with some cookies, and I just remember being leaned up against the wall, like I'm chilling with Pharcyde.
Oh man, I used to run to the stage. It was Ron Trent had a song every night that I would run to make sure I saw, and then I used to run over to see. I don't know if it was during Vibrant thing, but it was the solo that you did with Q-Tip and all that. And I thought that that band Tip put together, man. Ooh, like looking back at it. First of all, you had Static Selector before he blew up. You had like a young Static Selector out there. And then I want to say we had Chris Solar. You guys had Chris Solar on the guitar. Did Chris come out there?
Yes, Chris was there. Chris Solar. We had Casey Benjamin, I believe Casey was on there. And man, I can't remember if Robert Glasper was on that run.
He was not.
It was not on there.
No, it was Casey
before that.
And then you guys had another drummer. Like I didn't really know the drummer. That I didn't know the drummer, but I remembered you, Casey, and Chris. And I was like, man, Tip came out here with the guns, man.
Yeah, it must have been Mark Kohlenberg on drums.
Okay, could have been.
I think it was Mark Kohlenberg. If it was not him, no, it had to have been Kohlenberg, because I met Tip through John Blake initially, and then Mark Kohlenberg came in a while after. Well, years after, because we didn't do any live shows for years. After I first joined, I was like 18 when I met Tip.
Oh wow, yeah. That's amazing. So tell me this: where'd you go to high school?
I went to Abraham Clark High School in Roselle, New Jersey.
Huh.
Yeah, New Jerusalem. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I graduated in '99, so last of the century.
Oh man, they wasn't lying when they said old soul. I thought that you were my, Yeah, man, a lot of wisdom in you, man. A lot of wisdom in you.
Man, y'all paved the way for it, man. So we got to keep passing it on to every generation so they get it just and carry it further.
That's cool. So tell me this: when did you first get introduced to trying or to playing music?
That was from my earliest memories is of music, you know. Long before I grow locks, I used to go to the barber shop and get my hair cut on a Thursday or a Friday, and God forbid a Saturday because it was full. But in there, I heard, I grew up to hear Earth, Wind, and Fire and a lot of jazz music, you know, and that was just like communal wise. But we grew up in church, so you know, my auntie was the choir director, so it's not like say you can miss rehearsal or miss church, cause your cousins are go there and you have it there and do sing.
Oh wow. Wow. So what was your first instrument?
Um, my first instrument was the guitar, which I broke at 2, and then I think it was maybe the recorder after that in elementary, and then like at 7, around 7, I started playing the drums. You
Oh
know,
wow.
until about, yeah, that was it. And then I eventually picked up the guitar at 12 and started messing with it, and realized I was really wanting to play bass. So I transferred over to bass because I was watching, you know, the Jacksons and American Dream. And I'm like, look at these. I was a big, you know, we all grew up on the Jacksons, but that
Hey.
movie was like, you know, put me onto some, you know, we could do it as youth. If they can do it, we can do it.
Oh man. And you know the funny thing about you, it always plays a trick with my mind because I always tell people when they watch the show, I have this thing about people that I like. When I really connect with them and we're really cool like that,
Mm.
everybody's like on a, I don't want to say an expert level at what they do, but they're very in their right at whatever they do. And I can say for you, I've seen you sing, I've seen you play the bass, I've seen you play the guitar. And if someone was to say, what's the best? I'd have to say, man, he good at all of them. You know what I'm saying? Which one do you what do you prefer? Singing, playing the bass, or guitar?
I have modes.
Okay.
Like, you know, I go through modes. Right now, the mode like for me to even sing in public is like it have to be for a mission. Cause I'm more shy to sing. I don't mind being in the background playing bass. Like I can do that in my sleep. I love doing that. I'll do that anytime. And I still
Okay.
have some bass music I go put out. But like for this time, I'm really enjoying playing the guitar and using my voice, you know, to give meaning to the music. You know, bass was just like you feel it, you know, and that was my seeing how people gravitate to a vibration I was feeling. But these days it's like, okay, I have to be clear. So I like to speak and reason and get feedback. But you know, like you said, when you connect with people of like heart and mind, that's what I enjoy out of singing and you know playing the guitar in these
Hmm.
times. I love guitar, but I don't consider myself like, or you know, like Chris Shola. You know, he plays that's his thing. You know, and he plays bass too. But
Oh
like Tip
wow,
said, nobody plays blues like Chris played blues. You know.
man. You know, I was thinking about it today, and I was like, man, you were at the show when Prince walked out on stage and started jamming with you guys. You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah,
that was Las Vegas. I think
Las
I
Vegas.
yeah, I checked you guys out. I don't know if it was before or after, but when you came through the House of Blues LA, I remember checking you guys out. So tell me this. What was it like to be on stage performing Vibrant Thing? You look over at Chris. Chris is taking his guitar off of his back and he's handing it to the beautiful one.
The sign, the man himself.
Yeah.
Man, it was it was crazy. Like just the day before I was with Judah Tribe, we were playing at Brooklyn Academy of Music, and we did a tribute to Sean Bell, and his wife was there, Nicole Bell and family, and it was like a big, you know, one of their more like larger conscious music events. So I remember coming off of that high, and it's like the times we living in now, big protests. So for us, we had released a song called Judgment, and I
I
remember
love
just
that song.
flying in. I respect,
Oh,
you know, the next day I,
not to interrupt you, but that was
uh-huh.
one of the first. That was one of the first songs. When you sent me that song, that was when I was first getting Splendid Radio started.
Yeah,
Way back, like way back then. But continue with your story. But that just hit me because I was like, man, I remember I played it on the show, and that was like that was my jam.
I remember that, man, and thank you, bro, because you've been a supporter of I Works from the beginning. Thank you, man, and we again, I have to say, appreciate love for the opportunity, and But yeah, that trip, no, I was in a plane. I didn't know Prince was gonna be there. Cause I played with rehearsed with Tip, and Prince supposed to come, or working with this one little Jackie, and yes, Prince supposed to come, or this one. It's like Prince never come, so he was a man of mystery to me. So when we come in that day, one thing we get in sound check, and my bass was left in Los Angeles. Yeah, because we played Los Angeles the night before. So my
Okay.
bass got stuck in Los Angeles, and then Tip is like, "All right, Prince is coming." And I'm like, "Fuck, man! Like, I don't got my bass. How am I gonna? I can't play any other bass." So they had to get me a bass now, and I was just, vexed. Cause I'm like, Prince can't show all the time. I'm supposed to show up, and now he show up, and I don't even got my axe, But I remember when he came on stage and just looking, and it's like felt like a dream,
Yeah.
like a dream because there's nothing I would ever imagine to be on stage with people who you admire and grow up and watch on TV. I born 81, so MTV just bust. So I was like looking at, him, Michael Jackson, all these my heroes, man. So you're looking, it's like, wow, this great musician is next to me. And then he vanished in the cloud of smoke, and I never seen him again after that.
Yeah, that sounds
That was
that, that sounds about right. So usually a question that I ask the guests are, where were they the first time they heard Run DMC and how did it hit them? But since you're younger, I didn't know you were younger. Who was that hip hop group that really connected to you the first time that kind of made you fall in love with hip hop?
all right. I'll put it like this. My cousin from Linden, New Jersey, and Linden, I'm gonna bring up Linden. He used to sing my Adidas because his neighbor downstairs used to blast it. So that's like I know walk this way, like I knew that, and I can't remember who sing. You talk too much and you never shut up. Is that Run DMC?
Yeah.
I remember those songs. So that was like my introduction to hip hop. But my cousin Michael Olds, who special request if you listening, I remember me and the same cousin who sing my Adidas for me. We were like, I don't know, 12 years old. I can't remember whatever year Scenario come out. He's riding us around because he's the oldest of our cousins. And the man plays Scenario. I never hear nothing like that. Benita Applebaum. And like my cousin, who's like my brother, Sean, he was a drumming. So we love music. We used to listen to back then CD 101.9, which was like our smooth jazz. See hearing like Benita Applebaum and Scenario, like, whoa, and you just hear that,
Oh man.
and you hear Tribe and leaders and Buzz. When Buzz come in with his verses, like you never hear nothing like that before. So the Tribe Called Quest for sure. That was definitely one of the first ones that musically like, just grabbed my heart. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I say hip hop in probably 84, 83, uh from Run DMC to LL Cool J to the
Yeah.
Beastie Boys, uh it was a movement, it was like say for instance, I went to a high school that you had surfers, you had Samoans, you had essays, you had
Mm.
Crips, you had Asian gangs, you had
Wow.
like upper class people, lower class people, middle class people. But the crazy thing is that, and then you have the heavy metal kids and the punks and all that. But the crazy thing about it, hip hop was so powerful that even though you had all these kids with these different genres of music and everything, like when the tone of hip hop came or vibrated, everybody gave respect to it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, you know, the heavy metalers weren't like, oh man, you know, or whatever. They're like, okay, we got to give it up.
Yeah.
We got to give it up. And then to see hip hop grow to be like a driving force in like, I guess, corporate advertisement. That's been amazing to me too. You know, I kind of have mixed feelings a little bit sometimes, because when I look at different commercials and I'll hear like an artist who's passed away and I hear their music in it, sometimes I just kind of think selfishly, I'm like, man, I'm glad they're getting their props, but would they really have been down for this? You know?
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. It's the integrity of it, you know? It's two-sided.
Yeah, so what was high school like? Were you playing in bands?
High school for me, I spent like high school. It was when the same cousin, my brother Shawnee, the drummer, he passed away, and like I remember high school with my other cousins and being in chorus. All of we did sing either in church or in school. So I remember like high school for me was like, you know, getting back into singing more. And I was still playing the bass in church, but like singing for me was fun. You know, high school, it was like, you know, in church we sing about God, and in high school we sing Boys to Men and sing to the girl them, you know. So that was like my music. That was my thing with singing now. Is like, okay, not really take it serious. You know, I was more shy when be in church and you have to sing Ray Ray Tay Tay. But now in school, my music, most of the music was in church, like as far as an instrumentalist. But now I would say around from my 10th grade year, um, no, the end of the 10th grade year, going into the 11th grade year now, I met a gentleman from Elizabeth, New Jersey, named Donovan Jackson. And another one of my cousin, Ken Black, introduced me. And like, he was playing for Lauren, well, Faith Evans at the time. And I just remember, you know, being around that. I think Biggie had just killed Biggie, and so I remember seeing Faith in the studio, and like musically, we had a jazz band and this and that in high school, but it wasn't like thumping how I, you know, it was kind of corny, you know, no disrespect, but it wasn't like, you know. So my musical experience was me at home practicing like weather report and stuff, because my uncle them like P-Funk and weather report. So I was practicing all that stuff in high school, and then I meet Donovan Jackson, who was a legend in gospel music, and also working with Faith. So I saw like he was like mastering both realms, you know, playing secular music and spiritual music. So man, I have to tell the truth. I would cut class to go and play music, you know, sometime. Well, even before that, we just like hanging out, playing. It was all about music. I remember one time, not long after he got the gig with Lauren, him and a brother of mine, Jeff Motley, the two of them were playing for Lauren. I remember one day we were just hanging out in Brick City, Newark, and we all in the loft just playing. Love Movement had just dropped, and Jeff put it on the loudspeakers, and he had the live instruments there, and we was there. We played along with the whole album, man. Every track on there was just like, and how we were feeling it, like that was me in high school. Like I was all into that. For me, it was like, all right, you got to get out of school so you can do that, you know, and you know, it just grew from there.
So tell me this: while you were in high school, was there anybody who excelled at something, be it an athlete, a musician, a singer, actor, anything like that go to your high school?
Mostly like that I can think of off the top was like upperclassmen to me, because like I had my peers and my friend them, but musically I would hang out like a brother and one of my cousin my um my family, one of my blood cousin used to date a brother and them have you together. But he introduced me to first time play for Malik Pendleton, who is from Linden, New Jersey. And they were doing a tribute. He wrote the album 7 Days for Mary J. Blige.
Oh,
So
wow.
like I was working with him and he called me for a gig to go play for Malik Pendleton, like his birthday or something. And there I met Renee Newville, like across the, not even, like Roselle is here, you cross the street is Linden. Where I used to get my hair cut, it was a club next there I'd never been in until this time. I was, playing music now as a teenager, and we were jamming in this spot. So he was one of the people that, that I can remember. And also my cousins, Vanetta Bannister, she recorded with Talib Kweli. Like there's a few of us who did go out there and do, mainstream works. I was one of the later ones.
So tell me this, how was the introduction and how did you get into the scenario or working with Tip?
I just started college downtown and my girlfriend like, what?
Oh man, the connection just slowed down and we didn't get it. I hate to ask you to start over, but I want to hear the story.
No problem. No problem. I go turn on the hotspot and make sure we're not missing. You can hear me now?
Yeah, we good now.
All right. Yeah. And I was 18 years old. So my girlfriend at the time just come home from message. Q-Tip want to meet you. So I'm like, puzzled, like, what? What do you mean Q-Tip want to meet me? She said, yeah, you have to call Jonathan Blake, who was a drummer. He was upperclassman in college, but he was playing with the Mingus Big Band. And his father is a famous violinist, but Blake invited me because Q-Tip used to go and watch the Mingus Big Band play at Time Cafe, which I don't even know if it's there anymore. It used to be across the street from Tower Records, which is no longer there. And that was a hang.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we live.
Yeah. Uh-oh, the technical difficulties. All right. Oh man. And that is the luck of the technology. Going down. We'll give him a second to see if he could tap back in. Yeah. We're gonna have to do a redo. I'm pretty positive. But I thank you guys for tuning in. Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV. Everything was dope except for the internet connection. Hold on one second. I'm gonna try to tap him back in real quick. Let me see. We're not gonna give up like that. It's not the best produced situation, but Yeah, it's not the best produced, but we're about to send him another situation, and we're gonna remove that one. Let me see. Yeah, we'll give him one more minute. If not, we're gonna come back. I'm not gonna give this interview up that easy. I'm not gonna give up on it that easy. All right. It is what it was. So thank you guys for tuning in to Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV. And I'm gonna come back with this interview though. Watch me. Pharcyde TV on Splendid Radio. Peace.